I'm going to walk you through how to use your student SEL skill assessment data to guide your use of SEL program resources. My first recommendation is that you select an assessment that's designed to assess the same skills that your program is designed to teach. Here's an example. This figure shows the scope and sequence of a commonly used social and emotional learning program. Each row shows a lesson, and each column shows one of the skill areas that xSEL is designed to assess. You've got emotion recognition, social perspective taking, social problem solving, and self-control. Wherever there's a check, that means that the lesson was designed to teach that skill. Now, what you notice when you look at this figure is that every lesson in the scope and sequence is designed to teach at least one of the skills that xSEL is designed to assess, and every one of the skills xSEL is designed to assess is taught in multiple lessons. Well, imagine that you were using that very same scope and sequence and xSEL. Imagine further that what you did was you administered xSEL in the fall to get a formative sense of student strengths and needs. Here's what you found. This plot shows how students in Ms. Hines' class performed on xSEL in the fall. Each of the bars shows the percentage of students who performed well above average, in the average range, a little below average, and well below average. Each of the bars shows a different skill area, including emotion recognition, social perspective taking, social problem solving, and self-control. This bar shows an overall composite of skill across those different areas. Now, how might you use a plot like this to identify areas of relative strength and relative need? Well, let's take a look at emotion recognition and compare it with social problem solving, for example. In emotion recognition, 54% plus 15%, or 69% of students performed in the average range or above. With social problem solving, in contrast, 46% plus 4%, or 50% of students performed in the average range or above. So what you can see from this is that in this group of students, social problem solving is a relative area of need, and emotion recognition is a relative area of strength. So you can use this to guide your use of program resources. Let me show you how. Well, let's go back to our scope and sequence and think about how we can use it to build on the strengths and address the needs that we identified with xSEL. Well, remember, in Ms. Hines' class, we identified social problem solving as an area of relative need. You can see that the lessons that focus most directly on social problem solving are loaded towards the end of that sequence. So we might want to consider previewing those lessons earlier in the school year to give students a chance to get a bit of a head start on acquiring social problem solving skills. And then we might want to provide them with opportunities to practice and reinforce those skills, even as we're teaching other skills. Well, then you would go about teaching the skills according to your plan. And from the fall to maybe the early spring, just go ahead and execute on that plan. And then reassess in the spring and take a look at your data. If you did that, this is what you might find. Again, this plot shows Ms. Hines' class, but it shows fall and spring performance in emotion recognition, social perspective taking, social problem solving, and self-control. Now, if we go back to social problem solving, which was our area of identified need, we can see how students did across the course of the year. Remember that in the fall, 46 plus 4, 50% of students were performing in the average range or above on social problem solving. And in the spring, 58 plus 12, or 70% of students were performing in the average range or above. So we see substantial improvement in students' performance on the assessment of social problem solving. And we also see improvement in social perspective taking, emotion recognition, and self-control. So things really moved in the right direction for this class. I hope this has been helpful as you think about how to use SEL assessment data to guide your use of program resources. Drop us a line if we can help you with your SEL assessment needs.